Okay, we're recording.
Is this on? Hello. What do they say? Check.
Right, just hold the mic by your mouth and we should be okay.
Here we go. Look at us. Podcasting.
Okay, where are we?
We're currently, it looks like we're in Halfords right now. We're in Bryce's studio, aka one of the rooms in his house. All very professional. Got microphones and everything. Welcome. I'm Nick.
Croeso, I'm Bryce. You're listening to Swim Routes.
An open water swim podcast. Okay then, so why does the world need another swim podcast? What is this all about?
That's a good question. I think we're just really interested in hearing kind of the stories that are around us. You know, we're part of a open water swim community in South Wales in our little pocket here. And there's some amazing kind of inspirational groups and people around us, ranging from dippers and kind of groups that get together for social dipping or mental health reasons, right through to channel swimmers and distance swimmers. And we're really blessed with an amazing kind of coastline here in South Wales. So there's so much of it, like 3/4 of Wales is surrounded by water. So we have a really strong kind of community and relationship with the sea and water here, you know, in Wales and South Wales. So I just, you know, it'd be nice to hear some kind of cool inspirational stories and interview the people that you know, part of this culture.
Yeah, and we always, as we're going down to the coast, we're always seeing different people with different stories. For me, I think it's just a bit of a guide maybe for those that are looking to get into more open water swimming. And again, it's that portal to share why people are getting in the water, what it does for them, and as well, why do they have that connection? Yeah,
celebrate that diversity within a community as well. You know, that's kind of really interesting, isn't it? You know, we all have different approaches, but we're all essentially enjoying the same thing.
And a few people have said to us, you know, they've seen us going out and doing some of these mad swims, and they've said, you know, you should share what you're doing and help others get into doing this. So, yeah, after a lot of encouragement, I think we finally got there, and this is our first one.
Been a lot of procrastinating, hasn't there?
There's been a world of procrastination.
I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with the term wild swimming. I mean, personally, I kind of would use the word open water swimming, but wild swimming, I guess, is like a new phrase for swimming outdoors. You know, outdoor swimming kind of just encompasses whether you dip in the sea in your pants or dip in a lake or you know, do that socially, or whether you put on a wetsuit and, you know, swim out in the sea longer distances, you know, right up to channel swimming. You know, some people love it, and I think some people have actually embraced open water because of this new rebrand, which has come in the form of wild swimming. You know, people kind of buy into that, and kind of, I guess it makes them feel a little bit more like adventurers, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's, we'll get into why we do it, but a big part for me is just, it's a bit more exciting. It's a different way to start your day that makes your day a bit more exciting before you go to work or you're doing those tasks for kids and stuff. It just makes everything a bit more exciting and wild.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I think where we come from with open water swimming is we swim distance. We are predominantly sea swimmers. We swim pretty much only A to B swims around the coast of South Wales, and we travel and like to challenge ourselves with bigger kind of adventurous swims, whether it's estuaries, seas, lakes. You know, what we do is we tend to look at maps and then work out the challenges of how to actually swim those routes, A to B. But that's us. You know, nobody wants to hear about just what we do. So I think this podcast, you know, what is this podcast about? It's about kind of exploring those other stories that are out there and those other approaches which are different to ours.
Who are probably much more interested than us as well. What you failed to mention is you definitely have some form of OCD and don't let us swim any less than 2K. So most of our swims are quite lengthy, and that's just worth including there. But yeah, I mean, the idea of this really is to share the community of swimming. There's some really cool stories out there that have not been told, and there's no real platform for it. When we did a bit of research into it, yeah, there's some swimming podcasts, but some of the contacts that we know, some of the people we swim with, have some really cool stories, which would be a shame to not share with the rest of the world.
Do you think we should introduce ourselves at this point?
Probably be helpful, wouldn't it?
So who are you?
So, this is really awkward, isn't it? I got to actually say. So my name is Nick. I'm not a wild swimmer. I'm an open water swimmer. I've been swimming for a while. Sort of got into open water swimming from doing the whole triathlon, donning those really tight and comfortable suits, and yeah, loved triathlon for a bit. Did the whole Ironman thing, and just from there, I just always had a connection to water. I just wanted to get into water. My main passion, love, is surf, but living on the South Wales coast, we don't always get great surf, so I just needed something else in my life when there just weren't waves. And being on my bike endlessly, and I hate hills. I'm a massive pussy when it comes to hills, so it just wasn't doing for me, triathlon. But the sort of distance, getting out the bays, swims, did it a bit more for me, and it was the next best thing to when there weren't waves. So that's sort of a kind of intro to me. Done some mad challenges with swimming, which we may come on to, and done a lot of ultra distance, usually crazy challenges that someone's usually said you can't do, and I have to try and prove them wrong. Who the hell are you?
So my name's Bryce. I am also an open water swimmer.
Confession time.
Yeah, where do I come from? I guess I think, like most people, I kind of swam in the pool quite a lot years ago, but always, I got a huge kind of affiliation with the outdoors. So any sports I've done that have involved anything like running or stuff like that, I've always been outdoors. Used to do a lot of trail running, so I wouldn't really touch any road. It would all be kind of mountains and trails, and when I got kind of more into swimming just as a personal fitness kind of approach in the pool, that naturally kind of I got bored of hitting that wall every 25 minutes really quickly. And I love the sea, so at any point in my life I've been near the sea, with or without kind of swimmers, I'd be in there for dips, all year round. So somewhere along the line I kind of picked up a wetsuit and just started making that transition slowly from kind of pool to open water. As soon as you start swimming in open water, you're a little bit clueless, so you kind of stay in the protection of the bays and that sort of stuff. But I think that started feeling like swimming in a pool, swimming back and forth a bay 10, 15 times or whatever to clock your desired mileage just became quite monotonous in a way for me. So I wanted more, bouncing around here a little bit. I'm also a open water swim coach, so I actually coach open water swimming. I work with a lot of people, like anyone from triathletes who are pool swimmers that are training for events that want to gain more confidence in the open water, to dippers who want to actually use sea swimming for exercise and go a bit more from dipping, to just people looking to learn more about open water and gain confidence and enjoy their environment. I'm also a beach lifeguard, surf lifesaving coach, and do a bit of sea swim guiding as well. So,
I'm feeling very unaccomplished here. I got my 25 metre badge when I was younger. I think it's important to say as well, a mate was asking me this the other day. He said, yeah, but you must be this great swimmer doing all these distances. And the fact is I'm definitely not. And I actually learned how to swim properly probably only 6 or 7 years ago. Shout out to Big Tony in Taffy try, and literally she taught me how to swim freestyle. And so I think it's important to say, it's not Olympic style or gifted athletes in any way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same. I learned to swim properly again as an adult, and through doing kind of getting coach qualifications, actually learned a whole lot about what I was doing wrong and had to reset my whole approach to how I was swimming. And this is even just like a few years back, so none of us are breaking records, but it's more just a self-driven kind of journey of improvement, really, isn't it?
And that's the why for me as well. Like with surf, I just love learning new stuff. Constantly we're learning new stuff. The arena we're in, it's just constantly changing, tides, wind, weather, whatever, so that you're always being challenged in different ways, just when you think you've got it nailed, and then a wave will just slap you in the face. So
every swim is different, no matter, even if you do the same route over and over again, and I think that's kind of what attracts me to this, is that adventure, and also like the science behind it. I'm a bit of a geek, so kind of being able to read the data and look at the wind and the swell and the the wind direction and the height changes in the tide, and trying to take all that data and work out the best window and give yourself the best opportunity to complete an A to B swim. There's science behind all that, rather than just putting one arm over the other with good swim technique. It's so much more to it, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's what a big part of this podcast is that why do we do it? Why do people brave, like, we're going to go swim today, and it's absolutely howling looking out the window today.
I think we've got 30 mile an hour winds plus pushing up to 50 mile an hour gusts today.
And that first 1 minute or 2 minutes is just horrible. And I'm really interested, part of my job, do research and working in university and stuff, and I'm really interested. Why do people endure that? Why would they put themselves through that? And we've all got our own personal reasons, but why are there any other reason? Why else do you swim? Why else do you put yourself through this pain?
It keeps me ticking. It gives me something to look forward to. And mental health is also, I think we'll touch on that over the podcast as well, and discuss people's different approaches to mental health, and that's a huge part, I think, of why people gravitate towards open water and the natural environment in general. We all do it for different reasons and at different levels, but essentially we're all kind of chasing that same feeling, aren't we?
As well, it's I guess for me, one that can never stay still. This is a real challenge, me trying to stay still in one position. Definitely would have some sort of ADHD if I was back in school and diagnosed again. And so for me, it's definitely the whole movement thing, really good for health. But actually, got 2 young kids, got a busy job like everyone else. For me, it's just a bit of silence through the week. And that sounds really bad, but it's you can't be contacted by email or endless messages, or you just have that time to think. And as well, it's the challenge. So you're not just seeing endless lines in a pool. It's a bit of excitement before work. If you're battling a current to get in on time for work, that's a bit more exciting than dodging verrucas in a 25-meter pool for me.
Yeah, I totally get that. And like, we swim a lot together, and there's a few of us, we got our own little close-knit kind of gang that we swim together, but I also love swimming on my own, and for the same reason, it's kind of that isolation tank. It's a place to escape, and you've got the health benefits and the physical challenge, but also just get to switch off a little bit, and that's pretty easy to do out in the sea, within reason. I love that.
Okay, so what can we expect to hear on these podcasts over the next few weeks?
So we are obviously going to be interviewing some great people, like we've just mentioned, but also discussing kind of all sorts of topics, like from, athletics versus lifestyle, the mental health benefits, some safety and kind of risk topics, what drives us to open water, what happens around our coast, and what environmental factors can affect us that use the open water.
I am looking forward to the breakfast reviews. I love food. A big part of swimming for me is eating.
Yeah.
And the post-breakfast cafe is... I think the reviews of breakfast, I'm looking forward to that episode.
Yeah, I think, visiting different cafes when we're hungry and we've depleted those calories and lost the feeling in our toes, and what sort of poached eggs are gonna take us through out of that dark hole.
I think a big part of this, though, is I've mentioned the community. I think it's just hearing from you. What else do you want? Who else would you like us to speak to? What other topics would you like to cover? So please get in touch and let us know, and we can work on that in future episodes.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your stories. I think that went all right.
We've actually done a podcast. Look at this.
Yeah, so I think our next one, our first interview, is already up online, so you can skip right to that next if you've enjoyed listening to our dulcet tones.
Our one listener, my nan's going to love this.
I'm going to force my kids to sit through this whole 17 minutes.
Well done for making it through, and we are really looking forward to hearing from you and going on this journey together.
And improving our mic technique.